Hello. Well, today we are delighted to welcome Barry Bullard. He is one of Gainesville's premier builders, and we are standing in one of his spec homes in Flint Rock, which is an agri-hood over on the west side of Gainesville near Archer Road. We've got great proximity. It's great for people who work at the university and all of that. Barry is going to tell us a little bit about Barry and who you are and how you got here, Barry. So talk to us.
Okay. Well, I have been building homes in Gainesville since 1979, which is a long time. Started very young.
You were like 2.
No, it's a little older than that. But been building here ever since then, and we specialize in custom homes. We do some production homes, spec homes. Most of our homes are one-off custom homes. We work with a lot of clients on their lots or lots we have in inventory. We try to be flexible and provide buyers with options. We don't try to pigeonhole them into one particular style or look in the house or type of construction. So I think we build a variety of different products. Most of our work is frame construction here in Gainesville, Florida. It is very much a frame construction type market, but the homes are put together very well. We have clients who come up from South Florida and interested in masonry construction if they come from coastal areas. But in Gainesville, you'll see mostly frame construction where most of our homes are. We do some masonry construction. Depending, it's in many cases, it's a stylistic thing. Some of our Mediterranean style homes are masonry because it gives us a better chance to make that look be authentic. We'll build somewhere between 10 and 15 homes a year, deliver 10 to 15 homes a year. We usually have about 10 homes in progress at any one time. We're a small company. I have 4 employees, and we like it that way. At times we have been much bigger, but we have settled into what we feel like is a very comfortable situation with being able to supervise our projects. We're very hands-on with every client. My role in the company is to work with the clients from inception of a first conversation about building to getting plans developed and spec'd out and priced out and get to contract. I have people that work with my clients in the field. I have a project manager whose name is Chaz Hafey. Chaz works directly with the clients during the process, more so than I do, because my role is very much in the early part of the process, although I know what's happening on every project that we're doing. I try to get out and visit job sites daily if I can. I don't see all of them in one day, but I try to get out at least once a day to visit different job sites and check on things and put another set of eyes on what we're doing. We try to be very transparent in our process, very straightforward with people. We're very concerned about getting a client through the process without any conflict or any drama. And we just try to be as honest and straightforward as we can when working with people about the budget, about the process, about the fact that it's not uncommon to have a little glitch or two during the process, and we all work together, try to work through it. We try very hard to keep people happy during the whole process and have them be our salespeople, our sales force.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing better than to have people talk good about you. You know, one unhappy client can undo the good of many very happy people. And I always use the analogy, I don't ever want to go into Publix and have to hide behind the produce to avoid a client that I'm working with or have worked with in the past. And we can't satisfy 100% of the people 100% of the time, but we try very hard to do that.
Well, you have a very good reputation, so clearly you've been able to do that. Yes. So tell me, okay, so let's say I am a customer and I'm going to pretend that I am from South Florida and I'm coming here and I see that Gainesville has, just great neighborhoods, great value and all of that. And I come to you, I say, I want a custom home. We'll say the Spanish style one, because you brought that one up. What's the process like? Like, what's step one?
Step one really is identifying the property,
Okay.
because that is the biggest challenge for anybody who wants to custom build a house, is finding the right piece of property. And once you determine what the property is going to be in the design aspect, and we start with a clean slate of paper. Generally, people have a fairly good idea of size, number of rooms, types of rooms they want. So it gives us a good starting point. In most cases, I do preliminary drawings for clients to expedite the design process, because I'm working directly with the clients and not passing them off to an architect or a draftsman to create a concept. Once the concept's established, then we hand off the design to an architect or draftsman to actually put it into a CAD system and create the working drawings, which we price from, specify materials and so forth into, and then we create a price for the client and hopefully get the contract and start the permitting process.
Excellent. And how long does that usually take, like that process? Does it just depend on the client?
Very much so.
Okay.
Some clients have a real sense of urgency. Some, I've worked with clients for 3 and 4 years. I would say the average client will get through that process in about 3 months if they're fairly aggressive in responding to the design. Sometimes we hit it right out of the gate, and sometimes it takes a little bit longer to get the concept decided on. Once the real challenge is the concept.
Okay.
Getting the floor plan, the size, and the look, the elevation of the house determined. And once those things are determined, the process to get the plans finished up and get pricing is relatively quick.
And so take me through the process. Okay, we've established that we want to do this particular thing, and then you start pulling permits, I guess, or do you start? What's the next step?
Well, to start pulling permits requires a lot of information other than just the building plans.
Okay.
There's a lot of submittals that have to be made and determined before you apply for a permit, because that process has gotten a little bit more difficult than it has been in the past.
Yeah.
And that's part of it is code, part of it is just administrative in the county building department. But it takes probably, once the plans are completed and the submittals are put together, 5-6 weeks to process a permit and be ready to start construction.
That's not bad at all.
Yeah.
I mean, it may be worse than it used to be, but it's certainly not bad.
No, it's not. It's not horrible. And oftentimes the clients are in the process of finalizing their financing. So in a perfect world, their financing's approved. They get a closing date on if there's a construction loan.
Sure.
And the permit's released at the same time.
Okay, and that works beautifully.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so from that through the end of construction, you said it would be less than 2 years usually, but how much?
I would say our average time from initial conversation through a completed project is probably 16 to 18 months on a larger custom home.
Okay.
It can be longer. I have to qualify that statement with it.
Of course.
It can go longer. Our typical build time is right at 12 months for a average 4,000 to 5,000 square foot custom home.
Okay. Well, that's a large home.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a nice, I mean, at least for Gainesville, maybe not for South Florida.
Yeah.
It just depends where you're coming from South Florida. Maybe it's a gigantic house for someone from South Florida compared, price wise.
Right.
What are we looking at? Does price per square foot just vary depending on the finishes that they're looking for?
Very much so.
Okay.
The finishes really drive costs. The actual structure or the shell of the house, there's a lot of consistency in cost depending on the style. But finishes really, site work and finishes are probably two of the most driving forces in cost. So there's a huge range.
Okay.
And we're always hesitant to quote cost per square foot till we get to know what the owner's expecting a little bit more and understand what their what their tastes are, what their budget is, obviously.
Of course.
So me working directly with the clients, I'm hearing that information, and I try to keep people between the rails and set their expectations to be realistic.
I like that.
And I have to guide them because oftentimes people don't understand what things cost, and if you put a value to something, that helps them make decisions about the direction they want to go.
That's true. It's keeping them, guiding them, I think is everything.
Yeah, our goal is to get a house built.
Right. Yes.
The design process, it can be interesting and fun, but our ultimate goal is to get a house built for the budget that the owners have.
Yeah. If I were to be interviewing many builders, what would differentiate you from the others?
Well, experience, been around a long time.
Right. Yes.
And I think that we're very flexible. We don't try to impose certain standards on people. We listen to what people want and try to give them what they want at the end of the day. I think there's a certain consistency in our product, but that's what attracts people to us. They see our product, they say, we like that, or very seldom do people come in and want something that's remarkably different from the other products that we're building.
Yeah.
So I think the fact that I work directly with the people through the process helps.
Yes.
Because they know that if there's an issue, they can turn to me and they're not handed off to a salesperson or somebody else.
Yeah.
And, again, I think we just try to take care of people at the end of the day.
Yeah.
We try to make them happy, and it's really more important than the bottom line. Obviously, we're in the business to make a profit, but at the same time, we want to stay in business.
So we're standing in one of your spec homes. So how many spec homes versus custom homes do you typically build in 1 year?
I would say we'll do 2 or 3 specs in a year, and oftentimes it's we do them for Pareto homes. For instance, we do them if we've had a lot in inventory and we need to move that lot. We also do them to sort of fill in our schedule, which hasn't been an issue lately. It's been hard to get spec homes built because we have a lot of custom homes in our pipeline that we're working on. So it's become more difficult to do the spec homes. The spec homes for us are quicker turnarounds for time. There's also a need for people. There's many people who want to walk into a house. They don't have the time to go through the whole process. And we feel like if we get it 80% right, we'll probably sell the house.
Yes. Yeah. So definitely. I mean, I work with a lot of people who want, just to walk in and put their furniture in the house and not worry about anything else. Because the design and construction process, no matter how much of a guide you have and how smooth it is, it's still stressful.
It is. It's a big expenditure. It's a time commitment for people. And people who have been through the process have a better understanding of that side of it.
Right.
But for some people, we build for a lot of, husband and wives who both work. It's difficult for them to take the time to go through the process. So spec homes are a good option for that type of client.
Yeah. No,
And we're not afraid to build them. We love to build them. The good thing about what I do is because we do so much one-off custom work, we take that information and what we see people asking for, and we use that to create our spec homes because it's a good foundation.
Yeah.
There's a certain consistency in what people are looking for in houses.
Yes.
We try to apply that to our spec homes so they're will be appealing.
Yeah. Yeah. And that changes, by season, by year, what people are looking
no question.
for. And so I like that you adapt that to your spec homes and add it to them. And that's actually what I was wondering. In your spec homes, do you put all the bells and whistles? Do you do basic stuff or somewhere in between?
Well, we try to find that sort of happy medium between price and features that people are wanting in a house. We have to be sensitive to the market, what other homes are selling for. Although that's not how we price homes. We price houses based on what our costs are, and we put a margin on them. And at the same time, we are sensitive to what things are costing or other homes are selling for. So we adjust based on that. But it's sort of a tightrope you walk between making the house appealing and making it affordable for people.
Yeah. So right now you're building, we're in Flint Rock. So you're building here. What other neighborhoods are you currently building in?
We're building quite a few homes in Oakmont right now. We're building in not Hale Plantation, town of Tioga.
Uh-huh.
And then we're doing quite a few homes on scattered site
Okay.
owners' properties in different places.
Okay. So do you service all of Alachua County or past that?
We try to stay in Alachua County just because we have a limited team and we don't want to spread them too thin.
Sure.
Traveling,
Yeah.
spending half the day on the road traveling back and forth between job sites.
Yeah.
So a lot of our work is really concentrated in Southwest Gainesville and some in Northwest.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and you've built there in the past. So it's not like it's just in the Northwest. We really don't have a lot of land left or
Right.
neighborhoods that have lots left. So yes. So it makes sense. And in the Southwest is where you're
That's
concentrating.
where the activity has been. There's a basic corridor between Archer Road and Newberry Road, and that's where probably 3/4 of the activity we've had over the past 15 to 20 years has been.
Oh, wow. So I didn't realize that it's been that long that we've been having all this activity. I mean, I've been here for like 25 years and definitely have seen the town just, explode.
Yes.
I guess, yeah. I mean, Tioga started, back at the end of the 90s but you didn't initially build in Tioga, is that correct?
I've only been building in Tioga for about 5 years, so I'm a relative newcomer to Tioga. I always admired it, but we just had other lot commitments that didn't allow us to commit to Tioga. So we committed to Tioga about 4 or 5 years ago, and we love building there. It's a little bit different product than you would see. Lots are smaller. It's a denser development. There's a lot of variety of styles in Tioga, which keeps it interesting. And it's a slightly different mindset because some of those homes have rear-loaded garages, so the designs are different. Most of them are on much narrower lots, so we have to take that into account when designing, but we enjoy it.
Okay, so you're currently building in those neighborhoods. What other neighborhoods around town have you built in, just so people, if they want to get a resale? Everyone?
Everyone. So when Hale Plantation was under development, we started building homes in Hale in 1988.
Okay.
And we finished what I think will be our last house in Hale 2 years ago.
Okay.
So that was a nice run. There were always lots available. There was a lot of activity. It was sort of the go-to for builders like myself for a long time. But we've built in Hale. We've built, honestly, in just about every development in the past 20 or 25 years.
Wow.
We've probably had some project in. In the early part of my career, everything was in the Northwest. There was very little to no activity in Southwest. That changed when Hale Plantation came onto the scene. And ever since then, we've been building Hale, Wilds Plantation. We were very active in Wilds Plantation for years. We're finishing our last home, Wilds, right
Your
now.
last one. Okay.
Oakmont, we've been in since, I think, 2014.
Okay.
And we've had a really good run in Oakmont, and we're about to finish that run because they're out of developable lots for the product that we build. Most of the remaining lots to be developed are for the much smaller product, which we don't have access to. The developer of Oakmont keeps those for themselves. Arbor Greens, we built quite a few homes in. A lot of homes in these rural subdivisions like Flint Rock, bigger lots, larger acreage. And those have been less concentrated, obviously more spread around.
Sure.
But we work with a lot of owners who purchase those lots and then hire us to build a house for them.
That's great. So what is your favorite type of home to build, or do you have a favorite type?
I really don't. What I do enjoy is doing different things. I wouldn't be a good tract home builder.
Right.
I would be bored to death. I enjoyed the part where we're developing something that's maybe a little different than what we've done in the past, and maybe something that's not typical in our area. I enjoy doing that because it makes it challenging,
Yeah, yeah, okay.
interesting.
I like that. You're just a creative person. So,
I don't know if I don't really think of myself as that way, but I do like that part of the process. I enjoy that.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm going to define you as a creative person as a result of that, just because, you clearly like that process, which is the creative process. And it isn't just thinking about one thing, over and over again. So, which is fine. And,
There's a
the
place for
builder-
that. Yeah.
Exactly. And a lot of builders are very successful and great at that.
Right.
So, you just have to have a builder for every type of customer and product.
Oh, very much so. And I think I found something that I feel like I'm pretty good at and I enjoy. So that's
Yeah.
uncommon.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's great. So where do you see yourself going in the next 40 years?
Good question. Very optimistic, Anna. No, people ask me, when are you going to stop? And I don't really have a timeline because I still like what I do. I really do. I don't see myself sitting at home doing nothing. So I'm going to keep doing it till either I can't or I don't like it anymore, which I don't see that happening anytime soon.
Yeah. Okay. That's great. So do you have other projects planned now other than Flint Rock and Oakmont and Tioga? Is there anything coming up?
Well, there's some things coming up that I'm not at liberty to talk about.
Okay.
We've got some property that's under contract with a few other builders, myself included, to develop that will create some lots for us. One of our biggest challenges is finding lots.
Sure.
And, Gainesville, the climate for development is not the easiest. So it's hard to find property. It's hard to find property that can be developed at a reasonable cost so that you can bring a lot to market at some reasonable price. So that's something that we've been aware of and working on. It is a slow process.
Yeah.
It takes a while. And then there's some other projects that we know of. Right across the street, there's a big project that will likely happen.
Yeah.
I hope sooner than later. It won't happen overnight, but it will take 2 or 3, 4 more years for it to come to fruition.
Yeah.
But hopefully we'll have some opportunity there because that would be a large project.
Yes.
Several thousand acres. So
Yeah. Yeah. We'll tell you more about that.
yeah.
'Cause
Town of Tioga has 5 or 10 more years of property to develop. So that will be a constant.
I didn't realize that there was that much left
Yeah.
in Tioga.
Yeah.
So,
He develops, I think, about 20 lots every 18 months.
okay.
And he's got 100 plus acres remaining to develop. And
Okay.
due to the density,
Right.
it doesn't take up a lot of acreage to create 20 lots for
Yes.
him.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. Wow. I had no idea. So thanks for that information because that helps me educate my customers, as to what they can expect in the pretty near future.
yeah.
So, Barry, tell me, have we not covered something that you wanted to talk about?
I think you've done a pretty good job of asking me everything I wanted to talk about.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Well, thank you. I really appreciate your doing this. I know you're very busy
Not a problem.
building many, many homes in the area.
This gets me out of the office, Anna.
There you go.
That's my number one goal is not get stuck in that. There's more than I have to do in the office, so I don't mind at all.
Good. Well, thank you so much. All right. Well, that was Barry Bullard. Now you know a lot about him and about his process and what it's like to build with him. So if that's the style that you want and what you like, then definitely reach out to Barry and make it happen. Make your dream home happen. So thank you.
Thank you for the opportunity to talk about myself a little bit.
Perfect. That was the plan. Thank you.